Okay, let's get started. In today's class, we're going to learn about how to conduct interviews and surveys as a BA. So, one of the very important elucidation technique for BA is interviews, because interviews are the one you're going to have like exact answers from them, right? Because let's take brainstorming and focus group, the previous techniques. There you will be having a group of people, and then you're going to ask them some ideas and some random questions. So that's different from interview. I prefer interview over any other process or any other techniques, because here you're going to have some set of questions. And also I prefer structured interview. There are two types of interview. One is like structured, and the other one is unstructured. So unstructured means you have some set of questions, so you know what you're going to ask them. So and you're well prepared. Okay. But unstructured in the sense like you don't have any questions, and you're just asking them something, and based upon their responses you're asking like further follow-up questions. That is unstructured interview. But I always prefer structured interview, so you are prepared on what are the questions that you're going to ask, and if they answer in a certain way, what are the follow-up questions you're going to ask, right? So let's take an example of a structured interview questions. Okay. So for example, like this, let's take some, yeah, let's take technology requirement questions. So for example, questions like this. So for example, you're developing a brand new product. I need to ask questions about the application architecture, overall data flow. And then I'm going to ask about questions about the database. And I'm going to ask questions about the access level, like what are the different access you need. And then you're going to ask about like network usage. You're going to ask about what are the tools that we are going to use for this project. Then you're going to ask about whether this particular project we are going to have some batch processing, or it's going to be something real time using API. So that you're going to check with them. And then like this, you'll be like having very like a list of even for technical questions. I'm telling you, you're going to like write down like list of like uh, perfect questions that you're going to ask them. For example, technical documentation. Does the system have complete technical documentation? Do you have like manual guides? Do you have exact and software and hardware requirements? I mean, for like, if something is existing and you're enhancing, right? So you're going to ask these questions. So do you have all the diagrams? If they don't, if they say no, I don't have anything, then you will be the probably the one who will be creating it, right? So this makes like life easy for you as well as the business owners, because here you are asking very specific set of questions, and then this yes or no is actually very good for you. Let's say if they say that you are asking them currently, do you have any technical documentation? And if they say no, we don't have anything, then from your mind you're like, okay, they don't have any supporting documentation, I have to create it from scratch. So you got an idea. Then the next one is, do they have any kind of diagrams? Do they have any kind of data flow diagrams? No, that is also not available. If they say no, then you'll be like, yeah, I have to create it. Someone, maybe my junior, someone or me, someone has to create it. Okay, you'll be fine with this. If they say yes, yes, I have some kind of documentation, or we have already, like for the current process, we already have all the documentation. That's good, because you can ask them those documents, and we can do document analysis. So if they have some kind of existing documents, that is also going to help you, right? So, and also like for example, like what is the SLA? So from an SLA perspective, service level agreements perspective, so if we are going to receive any kind of data from external vendors, and let me give you an example of Bank of America. Okay, let me give you an example. Okay, let's take this example. Bank of America is one of the leading banks in the US. So what they are doing is they are giving you the credit score, okay, for free in online and mobile banking. Okay, so when you log in into your Bank of America portal, in the login, you can go and you can check your credit score every month, or you can you can see whether right now whether your credit score is in like very, it's in good condition, excellent condition, poor condition, whatever is the condition. So for example, when you want to check the eligibility criteria, you need to be an existing member. You should try to, because they say only online and mobile banking, right? So you should have a valid username and password. You should be an existing member. So once you log in using, they are going to give you the score based upon your credit check and everything. But their banking application, and this credit score is not something they own. This credit score is given by a different company. Okay. So when the user they log in, what happens is like when they log in, so they're logging in through Bank of America's portal. Okay. It can be through mobile banking, it can be through online banking. So this application they're logging in. But the actual like credit score, what Bank of America is giving is they are in the back end, they have to go and they have to like actually they are using multiple vendors for getting the credit score. You have to integrate with multiple vendors. I will list you some of the vendors. So banks generally they do not like generate scores for you. They are integrating with a third party application in the back end, or they're integrating with some credit check company. And from your when you log in, you have a member ID, you have account number, they are going to take your history and everything, right? So based upon few basic fields, they're going to pass that in the back end to the credit agency. From there, they're going to pull the credit score for you. So in the back end, even though the member is logging in through Bank of America's online banking or mobile banking application, they are actually getting the credit score from a different agent or a different company. That integration can happen through, it can happen through batch processing, can happen through API calls, it can happen anyhow, right? So this is a technical requirement. And if you're getting like, let's say a business requirement, like now the business owners are saying that we are having a new feature where members can actually like log in, they're going to get the credit score for free. They're going to log in and through their mobile banking or through online banking, and they have to view their FICO score. FICO in the sense credit score. Okay. So it's nothing but it's a third digit number. It's going to tell your credit risk history, and based upon that, they'll be like Bank of America is going to tell you whether they can give you loan or not. So, for example, I'm going to buy a home. The home is like $2 million. So I want to check my credit score. So I log in. I'm an existing member of Bank of America. I want to check my credit score whether I'm eligible for $2 million house. So for that, what Bank of America is doing is they're going to check your credit score because they already have your details, your first name, last name, address, currently you're employed or not, what's your credit score. I mean credit history for about like for 2 years, whether you have any kind of existing loans or whether you have some kind of like pending amount that you're not paying on time. So they're going to take our history. Okay. All they're asking is give us like access or give us consent for checking your credit score. So once you give consent, they're going to go to a backend. They're going to go to a third party entity. They're going to, based upon your details, they're going to get you a credit score. Credit score can be very good, excellent, poor, whatever it is. Based upon that, Bank of America will decide whether you are eligible for the $2 million house. So if everything's excellent, you don't have any existing loans, your employment history is good, your background is good, and your credit like payment, right, or you're paying on time, so there is no problem. And based upon your pay slips or based upon your income, a monthly income, an annual income, they're going to like tell you whether you're eligible for that loan or not. So that's why they want this particular feature. So when the business owners are coming, you're a full-time employee of Bank of America, and you're working as a BA in the banking domain, and they're coming to you and they're saying that, okay, so we need a functionality where members can just using their username and password, when they give us consent, we are going to give them the credit score, right? So that's a free feature that we have to now we have to give it to them. So consumer with existing credit card, for them it is free. So that's what it's a new implementation. Okay, if this requirement comes to you, you have to ask them a bunch of questions like, okay, tell me now currently how frequently you want that integration in the backend, because we are integrating with multiple credit score systems. So FICO score can be given by multiple credit. You can see here. So for example, it says USA.government. If you go to here, they are telling you you can get, there are like different agencies who's going to give you those reports. And then some of them are, yeah, see here. Some of the major credit reporting agencies are Equifax, Experian, or TransUnion. Okay, so but you have to buy the score from them. So what do you mean by buy the score? So Bank of America is going to integrate with these third party companies, and then based upon your payment history, your outstanding balances, your length of credit history, what is the account you have, whether you have any existing car loans, credit cards, mortgages, they're going to like improve. Based upon that, they're going to, these three companies, they're going to give you a score. So whatever tie up this Bank of America is having with one of the agencies, that score only will pop up. So if that is a requirement for you, you have to like ask the business owners, okay, so now you want the score from a third party. Correct, we got it. But whether that's a batch processing or API calls. Batch processing means, like for example, Bank of America gets 100 applications for this credit score today. Today, from morning till 5 p.m., we get 100 applications. What we do is we don't check with the agency then and there. We collect all the 100 applications. Then, as a file, okay, we send all these 100 informations like member ID, member first name, last name, everything, all the details as a batch to the maybe let's say we are sending to Equifax. We are sending to them. They are checking everything and they're sending an ACT file back. They're sending a report file back. When we receive that report file, we are loading into our database, and then we are just, once it is loaded into our database, the score will be available. That is batch processing. So batch is not real time, but if it's API calls, for example, I submit now, I'm able to get the score now. Okay, if I submit like view your score, if I click on that, if I go and I click, I give my information, then and there, through an API call, Bank of America is able to integrate in the backend through the agencies, and they're going to give you instantly the score. That can happen only through API, not with batch processing, right? That technical details you have to ask them. So if you want batch processing, it is a scheduled. It's a scheduled job. So whether all the files needs to be sent at 5 p.m., 6 p.m., 8 p.m., 9 p.m., or 12 p.m. for the day. So we will collect all the customer who are submitting the application, and we will send it as one batch or multiple batches, however it is. That's a scheduled time job. Whereas if it's through an API, what we are going to do is instantly, if one member is like asking for the score, instantly our system is going to like through the API call, it's going in the backend, it's going to go get the score for them, right? So what is that you want? You know, you're telling me the data flow. I understand the data flow. Everybody has to get the credit score. We got that. But whether that is going to be a batch processing or an API call. So this is like very few, very specific technical questions that you're going to ask them. So by this, what do you understand? If they say that, no, we don't want it instantly, or if they say that, yeah, we want it instantly, let's say they say that we want it instantly. For every member who's logging in, once they click on my score, we want instantly that score to be shown, okay? If they ask you that feature, you need to go check with your developer that whether that is a possibility or not. Here you can ask them. While gathering requirements, you can ask them. And then you have to check with your developer. Is that API integration possible? Can we integrate with Equifax in the backend? Can we integrate with TransUnion in the backend? Is the API currently working? Do we have to do any kind of enhancements? Is that an additional development from our side? But the business wants everything to be real time. They don't want batch processing. Can we do it or not? So once you get like a high level idea of like what business wants, then you're going to go and discuss with your developer that is that a possibility or not. In the future calls, you can come and say that whether it is a possibility or not. Okay. So that's why when you are going to, I prefer interviews. I always tell people that please go for like these kind of questions. It's very direct, and you're not wasting your time, you're not wasting everybody's time, and you're going to like ask them a set of questions of how that application they want, and you're going to take yes or no from that particular questionnaire or survey, and then you're going to go to your developer, and then you're going to check with them, is that a possibility or not? Based on that, you're going to have follow-up interviews or follow-up questionnaire or survey sessions, right? So instead of brainstorming and focus group, in brainstorming and focus group, the only con is like you have too many people, and they may not even know about what is batch processing. They may not even know what is API testing. Nothing. They don't know technically about what is happening, how files are being transferred from one company to another company, what is SFTP protocols, and what is meant by title job scheduling. They don't know none of the technical stuff, and you're going to like the maximum you can extract from them is like high level, very plain English requirements, right? So I want this. So what they will, business owners who have no technical idea, what they will say is, I want this feature. I want my customer to get the credit score. Once they log in, I want them to get it. That's the high level requirement in plain English they're going to give you. That's a business requirement, business need. From there, you as a BA, you need to like convert that into very specific requirements, right? For getting very high level requirements, brainstorming focus group is fine. But from there, once you have high level requirements, you need to convert that into very specific user stories or technical requirements. For that, I always prefer these interviews and workshops or surveys. Okay, any questions on interview, structured interview and unstructured interview? Okay, so next thing is like I'm going to go through another set of questions. For example, these are some of the requirement gathering questions. So you're going to ask them like generic questions. Okay, what's the purpose of the project? Who are the key stakeholders? Can you give me their names? And what is the deadline? Okay, tell me the goal for this project. So when you want these things to be done, can you give me as a timeline? And are there any existing kind of like documentation that you have? And is there anybody I need to involve for these calls? These are some of the generic questions that you're going to ask the stakeholders. From the currently what they have, current problems, what they have, and then what kind of enhancements we have to do for this new software. We are going to discuss that, right? So you have to analyze as is currently what are the problem that they have and why they are not able to do with the existing software. Okay, so first thing is like what is the business requirement that you have that we need to address, and currently like can you tell me what is the system don't have? Okay, what is the problem that you're facing? Is there anything like do you have any data currently captured in with any other existing system? Can you share like what kind of data is being captured? What kind of information do you have? Or they will be like currently everything is done manually, nobody is capturing anything, it's all done by Excel sheet. That's also totally fine. Can you share that Excel sheet? So that's the thing you're going to ask them. And what are the problems you're facing because of the current software? Okay, so you have any kind of performance problems, or you are doing things manually for a very long time. How do you want to automate? Who will be the end users that will be actually using the application? From a functional limitation point, what do you think will be the limitations? So for example, you develop a product that can be done only in the that can be only used in the US, and offshore team cannot use it, and you have something like in offshore you want to use a part of that functionality. So what are the functional limitations that you're going to have? From an access level, like what are the limitations we are going to have? Let's say you're developing a product for hospitals. Can the physician access is different from the nurse access? Nurse access is going to be different from a admin access. Admin access is going to get different from the member access, right? So we're going to have like 4 to 5 different level of access or permissions. So all that you're going to like document. So next one is like, what is the criteria for success? Okay. So what do you think is a primary goal for this project? When you say success, what are the considerations that you're going to have? Tell me if you achieve a particular functionality that will be considered as success. For example, let's take this one. So if the member is able to log in, they're going to like get the score, and based upon that, if their loan is approved, then that is a success scenario. If the member is able to log in, they're able to get the credit score, and then you're saying that, yeah, you are not eligible for this loan. That is also a success scenario, because from Bank of America's perspective, you are able to determine whether this person is eligible for loan based upon their credit score. So for them, it is a success. So when we say to a person that you are eligible or you are not eligible, in both scenarios, from Bank of America's perspective, it's a success thing only. Because ideally, why we are using this functionality? For us to determine whether they are eligible for any kind of loans. It can be a home loan, it can be car loan, or it can be any kind of loans, right? Whether customer is eligible or not, that only we are going to determine based upon the credit score. So that's a major functionality if we want to achieve. Then you will be like writing it down here. So the major functionality is we are going to make sure that member eligibility for any kind of loans, right? So that is a major functionality for this particular project. And then what are the training considerations? Do we have enough budget? Do we have any kind of dependencies, or do we have any resource constraints? And do we have any kind of expertise that mean existing SMEs for this particular project, or do we have any kind of technical constraints for developing this software, right? So these are some of the things we want to, sorry about that. So so you need to understand, like, for your new product to be very successful, you need to understand that currently what is the lack that they have. You're going to analyze that, and for the product that you are going to develop, how to improve um, from the existing system perspective. What are the things, additional features you're going to add, how you're going to make things easier for the business owners, right? For example, if you see here, they've added some kind of like what is most important, the order of importance. Can you take a look at these 6 functionalities and let me know? So they say that application is must be user friendly. Okay, the new software that we're going to develop needs to be easier to use. It needs to have a nice front end. Front end means like the screen. It needs to be, front end means, for example, this is front end. Okay, back end means when the data is processing, right? In the back, that is different. So front end is customer facing page. So this is front end. So this needs to be very user friendly. And then this needs to be, application must be easier to navigate, needs to have application needs to be more efficient, and application needs to be redesigned to reflect better business, right? So this is what is very important for them. The more easier for them to navigate, the better it is. Okay, let me take you an example of a website which is very, very user friendly. Okay, let's take Apple. Okay, let's go to Apple Store, and then if I click on Apple, okay, so what the first thing they will promote is like the latest products. Okay. So why the customer is coming to this website? They want to see the list of products, right? So nobody's writing here bunch of, like, if you see their page, nobody's writing in like too much wordings is not there. No, not even like 500 words or something. What they want is like, I have a customer, he wants to buy my products. Okay. So when he first comes to the Apple Store, first the highest top priority for him is going to be the computer. So Mac. Then the next priority is going to be iPhone. The next is iPad. The next is Apple Watch. Then these are some of the accessories, right? So they have placed in a type where they know if customer is coming, first thing he'll be looking for the computer. The next thing is he's looking for the iPhone. The next one is looking for the iPad, and then Apple Watch is going to be their last like major product that they're selling. So they're placed in such a way. Also, they'll always be focusing on the latest ones. So if you see, the latest is in bold, and then the other one is in the light color, because you want to look, your eyes should always go for the latest. So you'll be like, okay, what is the latest? I want to see. Then it is like iPhone 16 Pro. That's the latest from the phone perspective. And then they are going to like tell, like, for example, from this is one picture, they're just saying that this one has Apple Intelligence. Its basic price is like about $1,000. Monthly, it's going to take about $41 for 24 months. So without even you clicking the product, they are saying that this one has artificial intelligence. Also, this one is base pricing is more than like $1,000, right? So once if the customer is interested, if you see, he's going to like look for like options here. Okay. But in order for the customer to just click this product, then now they're making it very interesting, like saying that the latest, this keyword. Okay. Then if you look for if you want any kind of help, you have an Apple specialist, you can go to Apple, or however you want, we can actually we can help you, we can do you a 2-hour delivery. And then, I mean, like, so many things. You can pay in full, you can pay in half, and however you want. All they want is you to buy a product from them. And then if you want accessories also, we can give you. See here, like, what are the different accessories for phone, for watch, and however you want, you're going to give. This is like very plain, simple. I would say not talking too much. If they see their website, anybody will be who sees their website will be attracted to, okay, what is the latest? Let me click on here, and then I'm going to see what is the latest. I'm going to see the price. Then I'm going to be like, okay, good. And if I want to take a closer look, I'm going to take a closer look. Then everything, all the information is available. I don't even want to talk to an agent. I can just buy. If I click on buy, I'm going to go and buy, right? So the prices are always in bold so that you know what you're buying. And if you're going to buy with their credit card, what is it? I'm going to get 3% cash back, right? So all this is available. This is a perfect example of how you're attracting customers and how you are going to you're going to make sure that they're not going away from this website for the next 10 minutes. Once they come to this website, they want to go research on all the products that they have. Okay, what is the latest phone we have? What is the latest watch they're going to have? And is there anything, what is the difference between iPhone 16 and the previous product? What are the different like colors they have? So what is meant by Apple Intelligence? So let me go like learn more about it. So they have made it like their design is very, very, very simple. And they don't add a bunch of, if you see their design, they don't add like too many keywords. If you go to any website, if a website is adding like too many keywords, our brain is like, it's very overwhelmed. We cannot even like learn about the product. We are learning like there are so many keywords where our focus is already diluted. But here, if you see, our focus will be only on the phone, the design of the phone. And then you'll be like, okay, let me buy it, whatever, I'm going to buy it. Even if you have a very nice phone, you'll be like, okay, you are just attracted to this product, you'll be like, okay, I'm going to buy it. That's fine. That's just only $41 per month. I can do it. And you're going to buy it, right? So see here. So they're going to show everything in 3D, and then make it very fancy for you. And then whenever you're going to scroll down, everything is only in images. And why did they put September 9? September 9 is then they are launching. Okay, this is not something like, don't think this is like something like random stuff they are putting. Okay, Monday, September 9 is the date that they launch this product. So that's why they're adding it here. And then they're going to like add a high quality audio, video, whatever it is, they're going to do it, right? So this is how you have to like design something from a front end perspective. This is very easy to use. Anybody who knows English will be able to navigate this page, very user friendly. And I'm adding all the basic details, and my customer can go and buy it. It's not at all tough for my customer to go and purchase anything online. That is what is the requirement here, right? So the application is easier to use, needs to have a very nicer front end. Front end means like whatever I showed you, very easier or nicer front end, needs to have additional functionality, needs to be more efficient. Application must be redesigned to reflect better business. Okay, that is how we need to improve. So what is the criteria for success? What needs to happen for the existing project, and what are the changes that you're going to do to make it successful? And you're going to ask like, what are the other systems that will integrate in the back end? What are the different functionalities they're going to have? Whether your developers are having those kind of capabilities, whether we are going to like add any future additional resources. All these questions you're going to ask to the business owners. So any doubts on what are the general questions, how to address current problems, how to write down, how to like analyze existing problems, and then you're going to come up with a list of questions like what we want in the product that we're going to develop, right? So as is and to be. As is means current problem, to be means future. Any doubts on these type of questions? Okay, so the next one is surveys and questionnaires. Okay, So interview questions is nothing but you are going to difference between interview, survey, and questionnaires is interview is like the actual person is sitting before you. So you're going to ask the question to the person. Whereas surveys and questionnaires is like you're going to give them maybe a link or it can be anonymous, and you're going to ask them to answer some questions. But it's not it need not be in person. In person means you don't need the actual candidate before you, right? You don't need the actual stakeholder before you, so you can just email the surveys, email the questionnaires, you can write down everything, all this like in this format, and you can just send it through email and you can get their response. So that's the difference between interview and surveys or questionnaires. So the only con in the questionnaire formatting is like once you get the response, now you can sometimes assume things in a different way. So for example, do you understand how end users will use the solution? And if if they answer yes, we understand, that's it, then but they don't give you any other information, now again you're going to follow up with them. Whereas in the interview you can ask them then and there itself. So for the example, they say that do you know how end users are using it currently, and if they say yes, you can just ask them then and there, yeah, can you please explain in detail, I just want to understand more. So that's the difference between interview and these surveys and questionnaires. So when do we use surveys? Surveys is like when you are having like too many people, maybe more than 100 people, you want to get the details from them. That's when you send surveys and questionnaires. But you have very limited number of stakeholders. Then in that case, you please go for interviews. Okay. So surveys and question difference is like for surveys and questionnaires are like they are lists of questions that you're going to ask these stakeholders. But uh, this not there is no need that they have to be sitting with you in a call, or you need to have a face-to-face call with them, I mean face-to-face schedule with them, right? So you can send it through email, you can maybe you can develop a Google sheet and then you can send the link, they're going to fill this for you, and then they're going and you're going to read the responses. And this is not an ideal way of gathering requirements, I would say, because sometimes you misinterpret things when they write something and then you think it differently, then you think it like how likely is it like we use the solution changes over time. If they write maybe after 3 years we want to change this, then you need to ask them a few questions. Why do you thinking like that? Why after 3 years do you think this existing whatever software that we're developing, it will not be a current one? Again, do you want to enhance this product? So I always prefer please go for interviews, and you can use in I mean surveys and questionnaires. You can tell in the interview that I use surveys and questionnaires to gather requirements and all. You can give them examples, but in real time, and actually when you're working for a company, you will be mostly interviewing people, and you'll schedule calls with them, you'll invite them for any kind of like personal meetings also in the office, and you are going to be very well prepared before that interview. It's going to be a structured interview, and you know what is this what high level, you know what they want, and you're going to write down everything like I said, like this specific technical questions, exactly how the data flow is going to be, how they want that process to be, and then what is the SLA, and do we have enough documentation? If they don't have, what we are going to do, who's going to develop the documentation, and then you're going to like follow, I mean you're going to develop a process, right, for this new product. So I would recommend interview process with that to structured interview with you knowing all the questions what you're going to ask, and then you're going to schedule that call with them. Okay. So till now, do you guys have any? Yes. Anybody has any
Ma'am,
doubts? Yes.
I have one question. Means I am currently working as a senior system engineer with 2.5 years of experience, and I have done ECBA certification, and I want to switch my job role into business analyst. So which projects I have add in my resume? I little
Currently,
bit
you're working.
confused.
I mean, currently, what is the company that you're working for?
Infosys.
Infosys, and you're a system engineer. Why do you want to change? Is it too much pressure?
No, no pressure, but I have means to
You ju-
switch that.
you want to change it? Okay. What's the coding
Yes.
platform that you're currently using?
No, I'm in cyber security.
Cyber
That's
security. Oh, I got it. Okay. Yeah. So you don't have any domain knowledge, right?
yes, ma'am.
So do you know about like banking or healthcare or any kind of specific projects? Have you?
Yeah, I have watched some videos and also related banking domain, but I'm little bit confused which domain I have selected.
So are you looking for internal transfer or you're looking for any other companies too for this
Yeah,
2.5 years?
internal as well as the external also. I have looked.
Mm-mm. See, if you're doing internal transfer, they're going to identify, right, from which team you are. So in that case, you can say that I've done my
Yeah,
certification, I've took my training, and I'm a very enthusiastic BA, and I can like I want to get into BA. You have to like really be dominating in the interview. Very like you have to be like actually very first 10 minutes you're going to tell them that I am the BA, this is what I want to do, I don't want to be, then they're going to ask you why you are already working as a system engineer, why do you want to change profile, and you have to like,
yeah.
convince them. You cannot say that I just want to change. You're going to tell them like very good answers. So from that perspective you have to like, because it's internal, they will identify from which team you are currently, where you're
Yeah.
working and all that, they'll be able to.
Or can you guide for external one?
For external, like what will be in the relieving letter? What is the keyword that you will get? Is it system engineer or something different?
Um, Means associate business analyst.
You will get that?
Yes.
Oh, really? Then in that case, it's good. Then you can convince them.
Okay.
Yeah, if in the
But
relieving letter,
which,
if you are getting it as associate business analyst, then for
yes,
other companies it's easy, but you have to crack the interview.
yeah. But ma'am, my question is which projects I have had in resume?
You can add anything, US healthcare, banking, whatever it is. You should be able to answer.
Means HR related, HR management system or credit card enhancement process like that. I,
I mean, you have to understand. Is someone referring you from other? Let's say you're getting into CTS. Will someone refer you, or are you doing it your own?
Mute, Pradeepa.
Sorry, I'm just talking on mute. Sorry about that. So, um, yeah, so I was just saying that I'm going to continue tomorrow. I'm going to continue with BRD, FRD, and SRS. These are three important documents that you will be developing as a BA. So, next 2 days we'll be focusing on this, and then once this is complete, we'll be focusing on from an agile methodology perspective, how to create user stories, what's the format, and then how to create epics, defects, how to test the user stories, what is acceptance criteria. So all that we will be learning maybe after 2 or 3 days. For the next 2 to 3 days, we'll be focusing on the BRDs, FRDs, and SRS documents. Okay, I think we are good for today. Thank you guys for joining. Thank you so much.
thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Bye.